Hello, my name is Raymond Karchevsky. I am a living Christ. This recording is going to be a little different from the rest of my more than 600 videos that I have recorded in the past 25 years on the internet using the various video platforms, damn near all of which have banned me, have censored me, have altered the view counters, the comments that have been made have been changed by the factors involved in making videos. And so I have, in effect, been censored, roundly censored, by the satanic forces that control the communications that you see on the internet. I am not my body. I am not my mind. I have known this since the age of 5, and I have lived my life according to that understanding of spirit that transcends the material body and mind. I'm 83 years old at the present time. For those of you who have listened to me and watched my videos in the past, you have noticed the material deterioration of my voice, of my appearance. Obviously, as I say, I'm 83, falling apart, and I have trudged that path of earthly existence, knowing fully well in this incarnation, for we are not who we think we are. Most of you are conditioned. Your minds have been controlled since birth by your parents, who passed on their conditioning to you. The religious condition, the political conditioning, social place in life. All these things are fictional, anecdotal experiences that we hold to, we believe. You understand? Intellectually believe. We're quite unaware of who we truly are. And I've experienced this throughout my public life on the internet for the last 25 years. You'll notice my speech is affected for those of you who have followed my videos. It's due to a stroke that I experienced approximately a year now. I had lost my ability to speak. That's material. It has nothing to do with who I am, who you are. But the vast numbers of you believe yourselves to be that fictional entity that you hold in your memory, which you call ego. Most of you live in a fictional world based in the ideas that you hold to be true. But it's not true. It's a fiction, an illusion. You've been conditioned, programmed, like an automaton, like a computer. Your identity, your ego. It's all satanic. Now, I'm sure that many of you will be offended by that comment. You feel that I'm talking down to you. Nothing of the sort. I'm speaking truth to you. Oh, you will find some reason not to hear the truth because it will be upsetting to you. But that is the truth, that what I am speaking to you is true. For if it were not true, you would not be disturbed. What is being disturbed is your ego, your fictitious idea of who you think you are. A name, an identity, a person. Those are all fictions. The person is born through certification, birth certification. That is when a living being, you, the living spirit, encased in body and mind, are born onto this plane of existence. Your quality of life is forged by the learning process. By your mother, shortly after birth, meeting your needs of survival. And that aspect of survival is an important aspect. It follows you throughout life. You seek position, standing, security, some sort of accomplishment, some sort of purpose. Do you understand? When I say understand, I mean, do you grasp the truth of what I'm saying? Not the idea, not the word. The word that I used must be used because we're functioning at a lower level of consciousness on this plane of existence. And so words are necessary. Words are defined, but they're symbols. They're affectations. They're not the energy, the pure energy of what is. For that's what truth is. The undefined energy of I am. God made manifest on this plane of existence, let's see, we are the creator of our lives, of our quality of lives, and we are fully responsible for them. So you may be born in different parts of the world, primitive and sophisticated, and that will determine the quality of your life to some degree, but not fully. We live many, many lives. This is just but one of them. This incarnation. We are eternal beings. We are Christs. Christs are nothing more than simple, truthful beings. That which is whole, complete, undivided, and it is experienced through the subconscious mind, the holistic mind, the mind of God, the mind of the Creator. However, that has been referred to as the tree of life in words, in conditioning words of religious affectations. There's also what has been known as the tree of life, of knowledge rather, of good and evil, which is duality. The tree of life, non-duality, is the subconscious mind, and tree of knowledge, duality, of good and evil, of opposites, of split, is the intellectual mind. That is a mind that is being conditioned and cultured, and satanic forces have control over you. The civilized mind, the mind that you are all familiar with, the mind of identity, the identity forged by birth, certification, where you, the living man, the living woman, the child, is made into a person, a living, dead goyim, a non-living individual, a personage. That's who you are. By your own consent, you are lured into the passage, the dark passage of shadows and altered images harbored in the time-bound, programmable intellect that is foisted forcibly upon you, traumatically, affecting you by schools that forge ideas, beliefs into you, religious, political, and social, and you identify with them. And that follows you for the rest of your life. You are a satanic, programmable intellect. Think not? Who are you? Do you even know? Are you aware of all of the things that I'm speaking to you of? I would suspect that you are not. You grasp a little here, a little there, but you don't grasp the essence, the very scintilla of who and what you are. From the atom to the universe. I am that I am. I've just spoken words. I am that I am. And so are you. I am Christ, and so are you. But your Christhood lies in the potential. You have not realized that yet. You, as I, share this world, this earthbound existence, this spiritual reform school that puts it to the test. Are you whole? Are you truth? Or are you caught in the idea of truth? And they are universes apart. The idea of truth is not truth. It will never be truth. It is merely the representation. It is the word. And the definition that goes along with that word. And it exists and vibrates in you based on your belief, your adherence to that fictional word, that vibration that separates. It's not whole. That which is not whole can never be truth. And that is the idea of truth. And that is a lie. Now, I've come to the very heart of human existence when I speak of what is a lie. A lie is a counterfeit truth, a belief. It adheres to the satanic ruled intellect, which is created when you send your kids to school, when you were sent to school, when you were traumatically affected in your mental capacities, in forming your egos, spewing words, ideas, symbols, beliefs, superstitions. All of these things are learned. And because they're learned, they're lies. because they're not whole, complete truth. Truth is beyond the limitation of words. And yet the highly decorated intellects of our time, the leaders of our time, the blind leaders, the blind satanic leaders who lead us throughout hell, who bring us wars, who bring us crime, who bring us a satanic legal system that deals only with words, not with truth. Truth is what is, and it occurs in the eternal moment of now. In the after moment, memory takes that energy and creates an image, a memory, an illusion. And that illusion, coupled with other illusions, make up your ego. And that's why each of you are separated from everyone else and create multiplicity in your life. In fact, you are God. You are the one that appears to be the many. For God is the manifestation of all that exists. The animals, the birds, the fish, the insects, man, woman, all manifestations of God. And nothing exists but for God. That oneness, that wholeness that comes with awareness, spiritual awareness, the transcendent being beyond the mischievous, worldly intellect of ideas, of created separations, confusions, the antipathy, the conflict of disagreement, of argumentation, of debate. All that is of the intellect, and all that is satanic. Now, you will take issue with what I say because you have been trained from a very young age as children in school to take issue, to argue, to debate, to separate yourselves, to compete, not to cooperate. You see, with words, you naturally have the opposites, the opposite word, to comply, to compare, to compete, to split yourselves off and seek power over another through these methods of separation and division. That's what life is to most of you. You know no better, but you must learn. And how do you learn? by pain, by suffering, by being jostled, brought to attention, to pay attention. Paying attention is quite different than concentrating upon the images. For when you do that, you remain in the world of illusion. You wind up trying to create a counterfeit oneness with ideas. But ideas by themselves are separative in nature. They cannot bring awareness. Awareness is when you transcend the intellect of duality and you forge a balance between the subconscious, holistic, non-dualistic mind, the mind of God, the mind of the Creator, your mind, your wholeness mind, not your fragmented intellect. That's satanic. That's what holds your attention. And you live your lives in that fragmented cage of restricted images, illusions, held by your egos. And you believe that is the life that you live, the life that begins with birth, that ends with death. The fact that that life has a beginning and an ending proves it is not true, that it is an illusion. Because truth is eternal. It's beyond the limitations of birth and death. And that is what I'm speaking to you from, here and now. That world of eternal spirit, ageless, beyond birth and death. And I'm speaking to you at that level, but you're incapable of grasping that. You're caught by my words. And then you're caught by your definition that you impose upon my words. And that imposition, imposed by you, separates you from me. And you have duality. You have multiplicity. You have hell. What happens when you become aware? When two become as one? There is no separation. There is no duality. There is no argument, no debate, no violence. Hence you have no need for man's law, which is clearly dualistic in nature and has to do with words. And those words are more important to your dysfunctional intellect, satanically induced through schooling. You understand? That's the illusion that all of you are living with and seeking relief from. But relief doesn't come because you haven't found the simple solution of telling no lies and doing no harm. What's the magic of those two laws of God? Your laws. They're dualistic. There's no one to harm when you're living a non-dualistic life, and there's no need to lie when you're living a non-dualistic, balanced life. Lying and harming are the very essence of hell, of Satanistic ruled, dualistic hell that you find yourself living in, and then require man's law, the legal system, the satanic legal system that controls you from birth to death by your beliefs in the authority that you grant them, that you consent to them over you. Same with government, same with religion. They're all satanic, fictional agencies, word-based, intellectually created illusions of authority that you will give your life to, or you will have your life taken away from. These illusory authorities can create pandemics. Words, unprovable theories of death creating conditions through mind control. You believe, therefore you live according to that belief, and you die in your ignorance. I say awaken. Awaken to who you truly are. You've all heard of the second coming of Christ consciousness. That is what I have brought to you these past 25 years on the internet, and you have fought me tooth and nail. You have reacted, you have rebelled, you have declared war. Look at how this living Christ, this simple man of truth, is regarded by those who hold the controls, the communications of the internet, the media, mainstream and alternative. I have been attacked. I have been assailed. I have been forged. My words have been taken by another and pretended to be me in order to confuse you, to confound you. But it has not held up. It folds up shortly after I shine the light of truth upon it. And it cannot stand because it operates in the shadows. It cannot stand the light of truth. So, what do? They create illusions about this man, lies, and they hope that you will accept those lies and act upon them. Yet I'm still living, and I come before you, and you must make a choice, because you have nothing else to do but to make a choice. You're living in your dualistic intellects. You have not been able to transcend your dualistic intellect and enter into the balance of the subconscious mind, along with the satanic imposed dualistic ideas that you hold. That's a balanced man or a woman. That's a Christ. That's what you're here on earth to do, to learn, to transcend the words that control you until you understand the energy behind the words, the truth behind the words. That's how you enter into the Christ state of consciousness. That's the second coming of Christ consciousness that I have brought you. And yet you resist it with all your might. You argue it. You debate. But you do not find a debater in me. If you cannot accept what I say, you go your way, I go mine, and we each live the kind of life that we have chosen to live. I live in truth. Whether you accept that truth when I speak with you is your business, for only you will reap the benefits of understanding that goes with truth. And if your conditioned ideas, conditioned into you as children through school and Sunday school and Bible studies, all of which are fictional, have more power over you than the simple truth of a simple man, then you have chosen to live that life. And that life continues to be dualistic hell. Now, the satanic forces have been at me all my life, trying to destroy that truth within this living man. In this incarnation, I've been many things, but basically, one understands that I am a man who stands up against tyranny, against deception, against satanic authority, whatever form it takes. Government, religion. I'm a retired police sergeant from Pacifica, California. I was forced into retirement. Oh, I had injured myself, and That has been documented. No question about that. But the satanic powers that ruled the department sought to get rid of me. I was a sergeant, and I stood on truth, unshakable truth, as I have all my life. They couldn't have that, so they engineered my retirement. They set me free. I started my business, Pacific Coast Investigations and Security, located in Pacifica, a private investigation firm and a security firm, private security patrol for the merchants and for residents of Pacifica, a step away from the police department, and under the aegis of the department itself. There had been a changeover, political changeover in the department, where the chief of police that I served with, an honorable man, Neil Tremaine, was forced into retirement. And the position of chief was given to another man who saw me as a threat to his power. Another sergeant was selected for the chief, the position of chief. And so he sought to get rid of me. But he could not. And they ultimately found the way to get rid of me through the retirement. But when I began my own company, he sought to revoke my license and deprive me of serving my clients. But I never lost a day in the 12 years of my business in service to my clients. And the chief ultimately backed down. That's been a repeating theory throughout my life. For after 12 years of my business, I sold it and retired fully back in 1982. And my wife and I traveled the country to look for a place to retire, and ultimately we selected Oregon. Beautiful place. However, the drawback, again, was political, satanic forces which permeated one's freedom, one's sovereignty. And they came after me, which began with a headlight on high beam, believe it or not. Now, in 1999, I rescinded my Oregon driver license when I had learned, beyond my police training, that one was not required to be licensed if one was traveling and not using the vehicle for commercial purposes, for hire. but was merely traveling in order to conduct a functional life, to go to the store, to the bank, whatever. Well, tyranny knows no bounds. Tyranny wants to control everything about your life. And so they require you to have a driver license when it's not required if you're traveling. If you're not engaged in commerce, if you're not making a living in driving, but you're merely traveling in order to sustain a free life. Big deal. Billions of dollars are acquired through such tyrannical impositions that the average man and woman, you, are completely ignorant of. Well, I stood up to them. That wasn't allowed. They had to make an example of me. So, they created charges, felony charges, serious charges of simulation of legal process, pretending that I was acting under law. In fact, I was acting under law, their fictional law. For I follow God's law. Do no harm, tell no lies. And that trumps all of the satanic laws of mankind. They put me through 2 trials. I stood alone. They imposed a lawyer upon me, but I did not accept him. I rejected him out of hand, but they would not let him go. They had to have him attached to me for their own protection. And so it was. 2 trials. I stood sui juris. I stood alone. I spoke alone. At the end of these 2 trials, the verdict was guilty. But it was, again, a fictional court. I knew that. The courts knew that too. But they played the charade. I rejected, at the time of sentencing, the 2 guilty verdicts. What to do? What to do? The whole standing of the legal profession was at stake here. I was found guilty of felony charges, which brought with it a prison term of 40 years. What are they going to do about that? They let me go. They had no choice but to let me go, because I had proven that I was a sovereign, living man, and no fictional satanic court had jurisdiction over living men. No, that didn't apply only to me, it applies to you also. But millions and millions of you still abide by such satanic rulings because you're ignorant of who you truly are. Yet I have brought that to your attention in no uncertain terms in the past 25 years on the internet, and you fought me tooth and nail. Absolutely resisted such simple truth, which would liberate you, change your way of life forever. You are the creator of government. You are the creator of all fictional entities that you believe to have authority over you by your own consent. And you contract with them, therefore. That contract is a satanic manifestation that holds with it the phony, faulty, satanical, tyrannical power of life and death, of prison terms, life terms, or the death penalty. But that only operates in the fictional arena, the arena of the intellect, the mind. It's not real. I knew that because I had transcended that level of consciousness, and I was bringing that kind of energy to you, but you have rejected it, roundly rejected it. You continue to reject it to this very day. And what's happened? I have predicted it's all come to pass. I have suggested the simple solution of boycott, taking back your authority that you have given to a fictional satanic government, and supported that government through your taxes and tithing to your religious organizations. That's money. Money's a symbol of your life energy. You worked hard for that, and you were given a symbol of money in return. But what happens with that money? The very authority that created the idea of money somehow extracts it from you. So it returns to them, and there's little that you can do about it. That's the tyranny that most of you feel in your life. The homelessness of those of you who have lost your jobs, all because of a word, an idea, a theory, an unproven theory. But statistics are manipulated to the point where you believe in such manipulation, and you cave in to it. That's the nature of a publicly educated child grown into an adult living the life of a slave. Now they threaten you with a financial collapse. It's all fiction. Without your cooperation, without your caving in to it, it has no meaning, nothing to do with anything at all. So, what are you going to do? Are you going to walk blindly into a cashless new world order of satanic proportions? Or are you going to stand up as a sovereign man and woman? Take back control of your life. Dispel the tyranny, the corruption, the criminality of men and women who sought power over you through words. That's all government is. Whether you accede to them or not, is dependent upon your strength, the courage to stand alone if necessary, to challenge, expose, shine the light of truth upon them, for they cannot stand that light. Not the courts, not the government, not the presidents, not the White House. They are all your servants. You created them with your thought. Uncreate them and create that which you know will serve you. That's my simple message to you. Remains to be seen whether it is heard and acted upon.